Our magic item of the podcast is the Sword of Greenwall. This is a weapon, very rare scimitar. Emblazoned with the sword's command word in druidic, blossom vines of the sacred mother. This thin emerald blade empowers the wielder to unleash nature's retribution upon her enemies. Small seeds at the end of its hilt can be seen blossoming and falling off when its power is released, then regrowing the next dawn. So before I get into the mechanics of this, I totally stole this from Interparty Conflict. They were having a discussion.
Sort of.
And somehow you guys led into the Sword of Greenwall during this magic item debate.
I was just making up a name. I was looking around the room and being like the Sword of Greenwall, because we're recording in a room with green walls.
Right. And so you guys started throwing back ideas of what it should do. I was like, oh my God, that sounds awesome. And they're going to be on our show. I got to do this. So I tossed this bad boy together. So first of all, before I even get into it, what do you think of the flavor?
Sounds great. Yeah. Sounds awesome.
I like the fact that the command word is written in druidic.
Yeah.
That was a very nice touch.
Yeah.
Very, very nice touch.
I originally was going to make it attuned to druids, but I figured, it doesn't have to be.
And most druids don't really seem to use weapons anyway. Much.
A lot of them use, they always carry a scimitar, don't they?
When they're not casting spells or wild
Yeah,
shape
but this is good. So anyways, as a bone action, you can speak this magic sword's command word. And I love that I gave it a little bit of flavor, because I imagine the player saying, blossom, vines of the sacred mother, or some BS like that. And you know exactly what kind of shit's about to go down. At least after the first time. Causing thorns to erupt from the blade. While the sword is jagged and sharp with thorns, it deals an extra 1d6 poison damage to any target it hits. The thorns last until you use a bonus action to speak the command word again, or until you drop or sheath the weapon. Now, the sword has 10 charges and regains 1d6 plus 4 expended charges daily at dawn. That's when the little flowers regrow, or the little seeds regrow, which was not something somebody mentioned in the show too. Like, oh, I think it might have been Jeff. You can have little seeds or something growing on the end of it. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's just a way to keep track of the charges.
You inspired me, good sir. Anyways, so if you expend the last charge, roll a d20, and on a 1, the sword turns into rotted wood and is destroyed, which there is a pretty common theme among mages' staffs. Mm-hmm. Spells. While holding this sword, you can use an action to expend some of its charges to cast one of the following spells from it. Ensnaring Strike for 1 charge per spell level, meaning you can boost it up a little bit at your own risk. Or up to 4th level, can't go higher than that. That's a limit that was pretty common in some other things too. Spike Growth for 3 charges. And the spells cast from it have a DC of 15. So you get 2 new features from this in addition to the normal damage. Now, for the template of this, I used like the Flame Brand Sword or the Flame Tug Sword, but I'd had it do less damage since you can scale it and it does other things. So instead of being like 2d6 damage, it's 1d6. But what do you guys think about the mechanics of this?
I think it's great. I think it's easy to understand. It's very clear what it does. I love it. It's great. I think this is a very, very well put together magic item.
I like the potency for that it has for being a very rare item as well. Like it does feel like a very rare item. It doesn't feel like a legendary item. It doesn't feel like just a rare item. It feels like where it should be too.
Sure.
Well, I'm glad you agree, because that's kind of where I landed. What about you, Ian?
Sounds like some really fun stuff can be committed with this thing.
Yeah. I almost gave it Vine Wit too. I was like, nope, that's too much. We'll keep it simple, stupid.
I also like the whole like poison damage thing, and I just want to imagine like if you just like leave the thorns in there long enough, they start growing inside.
Oh, they start to sprout. Oh, that's awesome. You could totally give it like combine it with another spell like hold person, and just reflavor it as your thing sprouting from a previous attack. Oh, that totally needs to be a player tip. Intermingling your descriptions. Damn, I should write that down, because I'm certainly not going to remember.
Well, here's an idea. Maybe the players use this sword to kill some bad guy in a dungeon or whatever, and then they kill them, they leave the body there, and then they have to come back to that dungeon a few levels later, and when they come back, the whole place is overrun with vines and thorns and whatnot, because some of the thorns left behind in that corpse started to grow, and then it grew so large now they have to clear out all of, maybe it has spawned like vegapygmies or some other like plant creature that now they have to fight.
And like the
dude.
corpse of that dude is
a
like
plant
intermingled in its
yeah.
head or something.
plant-based clone of the thing you killed.
Ooh, there you go.
Love that. Or it's just like a living, like he was saying, a living plant with like the body of whatever you killed, kind of wrapped in. It's
I don't-
mingled inside of it.
And the only reason I thought that is because I don't know if you guys have seen
Botany
Sonic
zombie.
X at all, but Sonic
I
X
have
was on
not.
4Kids a long time ago, and there's a scene in there, and it's so weirdly terrifying because it's a bunch of dudes who like had like they're like almost like getting absorbed by trees, and there's like 12 of them, and they're all saying they're dying, and like the trees like inside their veins and stuff. It's so weird. Just look it up. It's like a kid's
Sonic
show.
has got pretty hardcore.
That was back in like 2000, like I don't know, like 4. It was
That-
so crazy.
That makes me think of Over the Garden Wall, actually, but I won't go into
It was
that too
like,
much.
oh my god, and that's the where I thought I was like,
Yeah.
this is so weird and terrifying.
And did you notice there's no actual like nature-based like sword like there is for the Ice Brand and Flame Tongue? So I thought that this
Yeah.
was a great addition to that. So
Yeah, I love it.
you're welcome, Watsy.